Welcome back to the series where every month I talk about a different Taylor Swift album. This time for February, we're talking about the second album, which is Fearless. And at first, I'm going to talk about the whole thing and just kind of the things about it, all the facts. And then we're going to go into my personal rankings that are going to be very subjective and I'm going to make people upset. So without further ado, I guess we can start the video, and we're going to start with the favorite segment, which is the basic info. Everyone give a round of applause for basic info. So Fearless was released on November 11th, 2008, and it is 53 minutes and 26 seconds long. The singles for it were Love Story, White Horse, You Belong With Me, 15 and Fearless. This was back when we got 5 singles for one album. And on the standard edition, there are 13 songs. 13, do you get it? And this is excluding the Enchanted content that we have here. I'm sorry, you haven't even written Enchanted at that point. What are you doing? Also, they are putting music videos on a CD. What's going on? But anyway, the tracks were Fearless, 15, Love Story, Hey Stephen, White Horse, You Belong With Me, Breathe, Tell Me Why You're Not Sorry, The Way I Loved You, Forever and Always, The Best Day, and Change. Fearless being the titular main character. And I just realized that it actually says Enhanced, not Enchanted. She's got it in my head. Then she released the Platinum Edition with 6 more songs, and for whatever reason, she put them in the front of all the other songs, making me trust and believe that the Sack Track 5 everyone was talking about was Superstar of all things. The songs are Jumped and Fall, Untouchable, which is a cover of a different song by Luna Halo, Forever and Always, piano version, which is a cover of a different song by Taylor Swift, Come In With the Rain, Superstar, and The Other Side of the Door. Now let's talk about the cover. It comes in 2 colorways. This one's white on the screen, but we also have a black one for the Platinum edition. And the other thing about the Platinum cover is the way that they crudely tried to cut out all of her curls. And they did basically as good of a job as they could have in 2008. I think the photo is nice, the one that they used. She looks like she's falling after jumping, like perhaps in some sort of jump then fall. Once again, she's wearing a white top/dress. I don't really know what's going on with the straps. I think she has a necklace on or something. Now let's talk about the reception, because here is when we talk about the world domination, or the beginning of the world domination for Taylor Swift. This is the time where people all around the world learned about her, really, not just in the States, but everywhere. It was apparently the most awarded country album in history. Personally, this era is likely when I first heard of Taylor. Debut didn't really make that many waves in Europe, but back in the day, the Fearless singles I think were just inescapable, especially, in my opinion, You Belong With Me. I don't know, I remember going to my friends this one time during summer, and they were all a little bit older than me, so they were watching YouTube, which was cool. And when I came in, they happened to be watching a parody of the You Belong With Me music video, where she holds up the notebook, right, the window, but instead of the guy from X-Men First Class, it's the YouTuber who's doing the parody, and he's holding up something different. I do not remember what it was, if it was nice or not, but that was basically the first Taylor Swift thing that I interacted with, although I do remember thinking at the time, oh, that's that Taylor Swift music video, so I must have seen that one before this. Now, I have put together a culture slide for 2008 when the album came out, just to give us a little bit of context. I don't know why I keep doing these slides, because they don't do anything. I don't think this is a good representation of the year, but it turns out that 2008 was actually a seminal year for me specifically. Like, you're really trying to tell me that it was the year the Avatar finale was aired, and also the year the MCU started. Now, every Taylor album has a specific aesthetic associated with it, so I took to Pinterest to conduct an audit to see what the collective image of the album is, and these are the results. So first of all, we have castles, castle interiors and exteriors, and just other things related to royalty. We also have sparkles of all kinds, but very importantly, they're pretty much always gold. Also princessy things, princessy objects, then the handheld parchment paper on something old to write on, like a notebook or something like that. The rain, but specifically glowing rain. I don't know where that came from, but it usually is glowing on Pinterest. Once again, we have gold, things made out of gold, and gold in general, and also gowns. I also have gone through the actual album to try and find some reoccurring themes and imagery, just things that she mentions a couple of times in the lyrics, the titles of the songs. First of all, I would say religious imagery, mentioning God or angels, etc. And here are some of the examples. 2 a.m. comes up only 2 times, but if I had a nickel, right? The next one is a bit complicated, but it's interesting how many times just the concept of throwing some sort of rock or pebble at a window comes up. So I took a note of that, and also just windows being mentioned in that similar Romeo and Juliet-esque way. A lot of people will probably say that high school is a frequent motif on this album, but it really only comes up a handful of times. There is a full song about being 15 in high school, I guess, and also the music videos have high school settings oftentimes. Last time we had the radio, so get ready for the phone or actions related to the phone, like calling and picking up or not picking up. I also had to mention horse, since there's a whole song named after a horse, but outside of White Horse, we really only get one horse drop. The door and the doorway get brought up quite a lot. There's even a whole song called The Other Side of the Door, so very important theme in this album. Another thing that people associate with not just this album but young Taylor is the topic of marriage, and I think that's mostly because of that final big chorus of Love Story. But other than that, it's only really in 2 songs, and one of them is a vault track. Then we have Drive In, the ever-present ghost of the track haunts us over from the debut album. Although in this one she does not specify whether or not she's in a truck, but rest assured she will tell you that she is driving. She'll tell you so much that I couldn't fit them all on one screen. I had to do 2 slides for this. You know, the girl is constantly driving, and when she's not driving, thinking about driving. Then I just put down as like fairy tale princesses and stuff related to that. I would say that the album played in order is kind of like, it starts princessy, but then it gets more mature or even jaded as it goes along, kind of her finding out that love is not as simple as she once thought. Here are some examples of the lyric. Then we have sparkles. These ones make it in from the aesthetic. We're talking specifically about verbs related to sparkling, especially shining or burning, but also I included little stars because I think that fits. Finally, the rain, which also carries over not just from the aesthetic but the debut album. The most apparent mention of rain is obviously on Coming with the Rain, but also in Forever and Always, where it is used as part of a metaphor. We got 5 music videos for this era. We got Change, The Best Day, Love Story, White Horse, and You Belong With Me. And interestingly enough, we never got a music video for the Taylor's version project, even though we got them for all the other ones. As for the looks, I genuinely don't know why I keep including this segment, because I don't know anything about fashion, nor do I remember what she would wear at the time, but here's a bunch of outfits that I associate with Fearless or that came up on Google. Probably the most intrinsic outfit to Fearless is this short, almost flapper dress in gold. There's multiple variations of it, some from back in the day, some from the era store. Also just her hair being still long and curly like in the debut era, but I'd say now in this era it's a little bit more done up, with the curls being more like in Hollywood or something. And I have to give honorable mentions to the school orchestra look that's associated with the You Belong With Me music video, but also different performances, and also the hoodie outfit that she would wear before quick changes in performances. So we also have to discuss the obvious legendary thing that happened, and that is the Taylor's versions. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, in 2019 Taylor's masters from her first record deal got sold from under her, and that made her unable to use her own songs and videos freely. On top of that, they went to a guy Taylor does not like or trust. In retaliation, basically, she announced a re-recording project where she would go on to re-record the so-called stolen albums and releasing her version as similar as she could get them, and with some additional unreleased songs from the vault to generate hype, I guess. And the first one of those albums was Fearless, Taylor's version. She has gone out of order since the first one chronologically should obviously be Debut, but I think her choosing this album to basically lead the way of the other re-records is a very poignant choice. This was pretty much an unprecedented effort that could have gone really bad and be a disaster, but she had no way of knowing if her protesting this way, standing up, would work out for her in the long run. But having the first album to come out of this project, and by proxy the first song to come out of this project be called Fearless, was a pretty powerful statement. This new version of the album, Taylor's version, came out on April 9th, 2021, so almost 13 years after the OG, which is crazy. The album is 1 hour and 46 minutes long, and long it is. It is basically a feature movie, if those could be just sound. And it's basically twice the length of the original album, if we're not counting the platinum track. The singles, in air quotes, for this release, since we didn't really get a music video like we did for the other ones, were Love Story Again, You All Over Me, and Mr. Perfectly Fine. And from these new ones, Mr. Perfectly Fine got on more, in my opinion. I guess I skipped over the fact that the project was massively successful, but it was successful. It was Taylor Swift. The cover is interesting. It doesn't have any text on it like the original, which is actually the case for almost all of the re-recordings, if I remember correctly. She's cosplaying as Mr. Darcy, and I've always gotten the impression that she's jumping over a wheat field. I don't know what gave me that impression, since we can't really see where she is. I mean, maybe it's the yellow tint of the whole image, including the sky. Like in the original, she is not looking at us. Her eyes are closed and her hair is up. She looks like she is taking a leap of faith, and in many ways she was. The track list is really, really long, and for the purposes of the ranking, I will be not ranking the repeat songs separately, since my opinions on them are pretty much the same. So from here we have Today Was a Fairy Tale, which is not a vault track. It's from the classic movie Valentine's Day she is in, and that I have definitely seen bits of. I actually do remember it being on TV once when I was a kid, and like actually randomly getting really invested in it, but I don't know what the movie is about. She's just in it, she carries a big teddy bear, and that's all I know. And then from the vault, we have You'll Over Me, Mr. Perfectly Fine, We Were Happy, That's When, Don't You, and Bye Bye Baby. And if you are noticing a glaring absence here, I know that if this was a movie got released alongside Fearless Taylor's version, but it really is actually on Speak Now. So I'm gonna talk about it when I talk about that album. The only other thing that I want to say about Taylor's version is just a couple of things that I noticed about it. Like the fact that she changed the title of Superstar with S being capitalized both times to Superstar with just the first S being a capitalized S. And then Forever and Always dash piano version to piano version in parentheses, because the new Taylor, she loves her parentheses. The whole project is just basically an excuse to put parentheses in every single song she has. And then, before we get to the ranking, the last thing we have to talk about is obviously the Eras Tour. And this time we actually have something to talk about. I will be aiding myself with both of the released professional recordings of the show. So both the first and second leg version after the reworks that happened. That being said, she did not really change all that much between the two, as no song really fell victim to the cutting that took place when she started to add her new album at the time, TTPD, or the Tortured Poets Department, and just needed to make room for it in this giant tour already. But in Fearless, we get the same set of songs in both legs. We get these songs in this order: Fearless, You Belong With Me, Love Story. So the two most popular songs from the album, ones people's partners, parents, cats, and second removed grandmas will recognize, and also the best song ever made. So in both of the shows, Fearless came second after Lover and was the first of the throwback eras performed at the tour. So during the eras, you got these glowing light bands that changed colors for every era, and for this one it was fittingly yellow. The stage is honestly very guitar heavy and also sparkles heavy. And what is interesting is that there's both gold and silver, the second of these colors being definitely less characteristic of this album. At first, she comes out with the guitar for Fearless, the song, and in the second leg, she actually comes out of the yellow Fearless room of the Lover House. In this song, she also does the Fearless heart that also kind of became the symbol for the entire tour, but it's important to note, for the purposes of this video, that it actually came from Fearless. For the other two songs, she has to get rid of the guitar, and there was genuinely a moment when I thought she was gonna throw the guitar at the audience. Like, you know how artists throw like a hat or whatever at the audience as a souvenir? I thought she was gonna do that with the freaking guitar, and I know she doesn't do that, but imagine if she did. Then she goes, "Are you ready to go back to high school with me?" before going into "You Belong With Me." A highlight from this song is where she says, "I wear sneakers," and her and her dancers point at her sparkly gold cowboy boots. And then she does Love Story and everybody goes wild. Also, to end, I will say that if I was Taylor Swift, I would wear those frilly dresses in gold all the time. She looks so good. And I also love the iconic frilly spins she does in them. It's cute. So that's it for the theory part of this video. So now let's get into the ranking of the song. I don't even know how to get into this ranking. I feel like everyone is going to hate me for it. And that is strange because when I picture the albums in my head and I think of Fearless, I think of all the many songs from here that I actually love. And in my head, Fearless will definitely be like in my top couple of albums, right? But maybe not. We're gonna have quite a couple of songs in these lower categories, which will definitely impact the overall rating that I will give, because I calculate an average from these, with A being a 5 and F being a 1 and S being like, I don't know, 6 or 10. I haven't decided yet. And from that, we're going to get a score for my very subjective personal rating of the album. Obviously, if I don't like a song, that doesn't mean you have to not like it, and vice versa. If I like a song, it doesn't even mean it's good. If I don't like a song, doesn't mean it's bad. It's just my opinion, and I have very subjective music opinions, okay? And everyone does, and we can all just live with that, I imagine. So I guess we're just gonna get into the rating. I will say that one of the annoying qualities that I have, especially if I want to do a ranking of something, especially of songs, is that if I watch or listen to like a song a lot, even if it's bad, I kind of start liking it. And even if I absolutely don't like it, like definitely not at first, if I listen to it enough times, I start kind of gaslighting myself into thinking that maybe I do like it. Like last year, I listened to all of Rihanna's songs, and at the end of that, I started to think that maybe that weird song that she did for Smurfs, that one that doesn't even fully qualify as a song in my mind, maybe that's good. And I almost added it to my playlist, but I have to be firm, okay? That can't happen. And so But what I have to say here is that I went into this ranking, to this month, having 5 FT songs for Fearless, and I came out with definitely much, much less. They have whittled down quite significantly. So, but there is going to be at least something in the F. So brace yourself for that, and I guess we can start. And these are in order here on the website, and If This Was a Movie is also here, but like I said, I am not counting that. She is a Speak Now song, so this one doesn't go anywhere. This one stays right here. So first off, we have... Now, I have to say, I immediately agree with Taylor on this song, because how does it get better than this? Indeed, right? It's a great love song. It's just like happiness in a bottle. So I have no choice but put it in A. And it's going to stay in A right here because, spoiler alert, best song from the album. Then we have... And I'm gonna say something controversial. I don't think I've ever heard it said before, but dare I say, Prehistoric, You're on Your Own, Kid? Think about it. It's cute. It's a song about being 15 and Taylor looking back at being 15. And it kind of feels like an older sister singing and giving advice to the listener. And that makes sense since at the time, and honestly, to this day, a big part of her audience is made up of teenagers. So that could be why. Also, at the time when she wrote these, she was not that far away from that age anyway. So she could also kind of relate. We do need to talk about the football line. So some people think that she's a hypocrite because she has a line that says, "In your life, you'll do things greater than dating the boy on the football team." And now she is dating a professional football player. But like, you guys, she has done greater things and she will do greater things. Her dating Travis is not like in the top 10 most interesting facts about her. And the fact that she's dating him doesn't negate that just because she said that in the song in 2008. And she didn't even say that. It's not like she says that dating a boy on a football team is like the ultimate anti-women move ever. And I think people still will be inspired by her to do great things, even though she is dating a footballer. Like, that's not something that's wrong. I think she is still a big inspiration and she didn't stop and become a trad wife all of a sudden. Anyway, Abigail mentioned, I also need to shout out the line, "When all you wanted was to be wanted." Cute. As for the rating, it is a cute song, but I'm never like, I need a bop, let's play 15. So I say it's a B. Now for the icon, the myth, the legend. I admit that when this hits, it hits extra hard. Like the proposal at the end, come on. And I just can't help but perk up. But I kind of have gone back and forth on this one over the years. It feels like such an obvious A, right? But because of that, I have kind of started to overanalyze my own feelings about it. And now I kind of feel like it's more of a B. And maybe it's because I've played it so much, but it is a really high B still. Maybe even an A on a good day. I feel like my feelings towards it are closer to the way that I feel about other B tier songs more than A tier songs. So it's going in a B, and it's going to be a higher than 15B. Undiscovered Superstar, more likely than you think. This one's just really jolly and happy, and it just makes me smile. I don't know. It's also in addition to the whole throwing rocks at the window cinematic universe, which just makes me think of that one moment in You. Also, this one moment in the song. The girls, well, they're beautiful, but would they write a song for you? She's so sassy. And also, she's right, they wouldn't. So this one is also a B. Raise your hand if you have googled, what does she mean by leader of the stairwell? In my notes I wrote down, try and catch me now, hee hee. And that is the way the ending makes me feel of this song. For one, because it's a fun little sassy ending, and for two, because the song ends. I'm sorry, I don't actually hate the song, but too bad the rest of the song doesn't make me feel that much. This one, I mean, it's got to be an uphill battle for the song because it's slow and it's always going to have a harder time winning me over than a faster song. So, I mean, that is just the rule here in my brain. I will say that this song is kind of meta in the Fairy Tale Princess album, whose lead single included the line, "You'll be the prince and I'll be the princess." And she suddenly just turns around and says, "No, I'm actually grown up now. I don't think you're a prince and I will not be indulging myself anymore." I truly do think that this and Love Story are songs that are part of the same story and hit best when being thought of as a duo, especially for White Horse. I think you can just accept the happy ending in Love Story, but this one is kind of a follow-up to that. But you know, from this duo, I prefer Love Story by a long mile, and this is actually a C tier song for me. Now this one hits every time. I've already talked about how I encountered a parody of this music video when I was little, but I kind of forgot to mention that was probably one of the first YouTube videos that I had ever watched at the time. So I didn't even know that people posted content like this on the internet. I really only thought it was for music videos, and kind of by proxy, this song introduced me to the fact that there was content on YouTube, and now I have a YouTube addiction. So funny how things work out. Anyway, You Belong With Me is the ultimate Friends to Lovers song, and it will remain one of her most iconic songs forever. She will be in the nursing home singing that she's on the high school bleachers. And that's just life, and that's good. And this is an A tier song. Almost the best song, but Fearless, it just beats it. Then we have Breathe, and we've just gone from a high to a low. I basically never reach for this song. It does sometimes get stuck in my head though, I'll give it that, but I do mostly really like the chorus, and that's it. It's also one of the Taylor collabs where she just straight up doesn't give her featured artist any lines, which is a great running gag for her whole career. Oh, what's the song about? The lyric, I don't know, "I can't breathe without you, but I have to," just perfectly sums it up, I think. Side note, am I the only one who, when I'm listening to it, I think she's about to say, "It's 2 a.m, I feel I just lost a 10 out of 10. This is barely even a C, I'm sorry. And there's gonna be songs below it in the C category, so that's fun. Then we have Tell Me Why. Someone tell me why I didn't used to like this song. Am I right? Because this is a bop and a half, okay? I do remember maybe back in the day feeling like the lyrics are angry, but she doesn't really sound mad enough. But like, who cares about that? This is a great song. The way she says "temper I remember." Also, the lyric, "You can write a book on how to ruin someone's perfect day," is really funny. Thank you for that, Taylor. It's just a solid song about being angry with someone you also have feelings for. And like, what else can I say? This is an A tier song, and I didn't used to like it, and now I do. You're Not Sorry. The way I didn't take any notes on this one. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this one, can you tell? It's one of those songs that I listen to almost exclusively when it comes up on shuffle and I'm too far from the phone to switch it, or also when it gets stuck in my head. Because say what you want about this album, but all the songs are catchy. But I'm never like, you know what I want to listen to? You're Not Sorry. No, never. So, I mean, it's about giving up on a relationship, cutting someone off because, you know, they're not actually sorry about something, and that's it. And this one's a C. Now, The Way I Loved You This is The Other Side of the Door sister, and I realized that I haven't talked to you guys about The Other Side of the Door, but whatever. You just have to know that these two songs live in the same little crevice in my brain. This song with the Other Side of the Door outro would be absolute perfection. So this song is about being in a perfectly good relationship with someone who treats you well and is a great person, but you still miss that other relationship where the person drove you crazy and you had this turbulent relationship, and boy is it good. It's just a great story, and it is going in A. Forever and Always, the normal version, also known as the good version, if you know what I mean. Who said that? I'll be honest, I always forget just how good this song is. Like, it can be an A on a good day. It's another angry song about a relationship falling apart and Taylor feeling like the other person is not keeping their promise of being together forever and always, hence the title. I just love how angry she gets on this one, the way she says back up, almost scary. And also the line, like a scared little boy. I just have an exclamation mark written next to that one, and that's right. So this one is a very high B. The best day. I'll say it right away. This is the first song that will be heading into the D tier, which is my sad tier. So I listen to music a lot to cheer myself up and to kind of get more energy. And so I'm also not emotionally strong enough to listen to sad songs. I just can't. And it doesn't matter how good they are, but I just don't put them on my playlist. And that's what D tier is for, because they could be the best song ever made. I still don't listen to them because they made me cry. And this one's not even that sad. That's the thing. It's just really touching. It just makes me kind of want to tear up, or actually tear up. It's just about Taylor's love for her family, in particular her love for her mum, and it's just really moving. But it has to go into D because I can't listen to it. Change. This is a song that exists. This song walked so Long Live could run. Love that long note though, especially in TV. This is kind of like a battle song, gearing up for battle, hyping yourself up. But I just feel like the subject matter is a little too vague for it to actually hype me up in any meaningful way. It is also apparently about her old record label, which makes it a bit sad, and is going into C tier. So these are all of the songs from the standard edition, but we are not stopping there, since we're also ranking the platinum edition tracks as well as ones from Taylor's version. So we're basically only halfway through this. Jump Then Fall. This is another love song, and it's just very cute. This one is more about being supportive in the relationship. You know, you fall, I'll catch you, and that's sweet. Although she does say when you fall, not if, which is a bit foreboding. I love how at the beginning she says, I like the way you sound in the morning, which makes me think she's thinking about waking up in the same room as someone, but then she's immediately like, we're on the phone. That's a good save, Taylor. I also love the way she said, ho, before the second verse. And also the line, all I can think is come closer. I have also noticed, just this month actually, which is interesting, this weird squeaking on the re-recording, which I think is the sound of nails on the guitar strings, but at first I was like, what the frick is this squeaking? Do I have a mouse in my room? What's going on? So yeah, Jump and Fall is a very high B. Untouchable. Why do I have so many notes on this song? What is happening? It's another one I don't like, but that is also catchy. It's funny though, because I remember when I first listened to the song and even on subsequent listens, feeling like I just didn't connect to the writing of the song as much as I do with other Taylor songs. Like the lyrics are a little bit too confusing, like it's about different things in different verses, and like, for example, at first you have a crush on someone who's so out of reach it makes the title of the song, but now in the second verse you've also scheduled a date with them and they are standing you up. It's like some lyrics are there because they sound nice and not because they fit the story in air quotes, and that just didn't gel with me that much, and it just didn't feel like her other songs. And then I find out that it's a cover. What am I, like a Taylor Swift radar or something? How do I know? But yeah, it's a cover, which is strange for her discography, especially stuff that makes it to the albums. And apparently the original sounds nothing like this, so I don't know how she got there. It just, no matter how hard I try, I can't like this song more than just a little bit. So it's a C tier. Forever and Always piano version. Also known as the bad version, if you know what I mean. I don't know why I even have this on my playlist anymore. I guess I do like it sometimes, or I used to. But I find that whenever it comes up on shuffle, I let out an audible sigh, and I don't think that's a good sign. I'm glad she doesn't really do these anymore, like the remixes. They really mostly end up in their own little space, and so they're not on the main album or the platinum. It's just every time it comes up and I listen to it, all I can think is, wow, I wish I was listening to Forever and Always normal version right now. So I don't know, I think it just kind of lacks the punch of the original, and I prefer the more angry version. But, despite all that I've said, I do still like it a bit. So it is getting a C, and it's going to go like that. Coming with the Rain. Hear me out. Cinematic parallels to Peter. No? Just me? Okay. She feels hurt by a guy, but still leaves him a sliver of a chance to come back. She's just tired to try and get him back or get angry. I do love the lyric, I know you by heart and you don't even know where I start. That's great. But it is a C tier. It is quite high actually in the C tier though. Right here. So you can see, even by this point, I have a lot of songs I really like, but the C tier is getting longer and longer, and that doesn't bode well for the final rating. Then we have Superstar. Okay, listen up because it's about to get really confusing. This is basically a celebrity crush song, and it can at times feel a bit creepy. And also, when you're listening to it, you're like, Taylor Swift, you are a celebrity. Can't you just talk to them? But then I'm like, okay, this is actually an intentional commentary on celebrity crushes and paranormal relationship. But then I'm like, I don't know. I feel like she just probably wrote this for her teen audience at the time to relate to. But then I realized that at the time she wrote this, she was also a teenager and maybe could still relate to a song like this. I mean, she hadn't been famous for that long at the time, and celebrity crushes wouldn't have been that crazily foreign for her at that point. Now, I've seen somewhere that this is among the least listened to songs of hers, but I don't think this song is half bad. I actually really like it, so maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I don't really skip it when it comes on, basically, but I also don't really set for it. Also, why does she say counting down the ways to see you and not days? I don't know, but it is a high C, maybe a B on a good day, but high C. The Other Side of the Door. Now this is great. This is a Taylor Swift Waiting Outside in the Rain All Night by the Window Cinematic Universe edition. Also throwing pebbles. This is a song about having an argument with a partner and storming off and wishing they followed you and tried to get you back. How about we skip right to the meat and potatoes and talk about that outro? Because what an outro it is. It's a great outro. It's one of the best moments on the entirety of this record. The little white lies, that little black dress. Also, not in the outro, but the lyric, "So babe, if you know everything, tell me why you couldn't see that when I left I wanted you to chase after me, make me go crazy." This song is so good. It's an A tier. Today was a fairy tale. So, for the longest time, for some reason, I used to always get this confused with if this was a movie. And if this was a movie, even though we're not talking about the song now, we're talking about it next month, but it is kind of a slower, chiller, sadder song, and that's why I just wouldn't get hyped for Today Was a Fairy Tale. But you guys, this is the best song ever made. She can't keep getting away with this. She just knows how to make a perfect song that's just pure happiness. It's just like about a perfect date, basically, and the date made her feel like she's in a fairy tale. My favorite moment is towards the end when she sings in this upward way. I love it. I love it so much. So it's third on the A tier. You all over me. Now for the biggest surprise of this video. This song used to be in the F tier up to this month, and now it's skyrocketed for the rankings somehow. And I love it because for me it's like a new Taylor Swift song, even though it's so old. And I just didn't appreciate it enough before. Now, I'm not denying that the lyrics in the first verse are whack, okay? They kind of don't make any sense, but I don't care. It gets better by the chorus and then it just stays good. What's the song about? Basically just about not being over someone who's bad for you. It's so good. Also, it's another collab where Taylor's like, you don't get any lines, come on. And it's a B. Mr. Perfectly Fine. No notes, just A tier. Best Fearless World track. We were happy. This is as much a collab as real collabs, and this one's not even a collab. I don't really like this song. Featuring lyrics like, when it was good, baby. I just can't get into it, I'm sorry. Also, why does it randomly mention the circus? I do like one bit when she says, how we laughed in the dark talking about your daddy's farm, we're gonna buy someday. Bars. It doesn't save the song though. And I'm sorry, but this is my first F tier of the whole project. That's when. There's a man singing at me. I don't know what's more shocking, the fact that there's a male voice or the fact that she let him sing on her song. I guess the exception confirms the rule, right? That's when makes me angry because of how catchy it is. Because the lyrics also make no sense. But as opposed to We're Happy, it is kind of a bop. So I can't help but listen to it, okay? The whole framing is one person asking, when can I do X? And the other person responding with, that's when, blah, 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 blah. And I don't know if it's just me, but I just kind of feel like the chorus doesn't really make sense, like, grammatically. If I ask someone, when can I come back? And they responded, that's when it's sunny or stormy, laughing when I'm crying. I'd be like, are you okay? I don't know, it's just kind of clunky. It's even worse at the end with the, did you ever think of me? And the response being, that's when I wake up in the morning. What are you talking about? So yeah, this is a C tier. It also used to be an F tier, but it is a C tier. Just barely is a C tier. Then we have Don't You. Second Chance Romance, save me. Save me, Second Chance Romance. B tier. And we have made it to the final song of the record, titled aptly, Bye Bye Baby. I love when artists do that. just make the final song a goodbye title. That's nice. And this one is alright. I don't really have a lot to say about this one. Again, this is one that used to be an F tier, but when I came back to this for the first time this month and I did not remember anything about it, I was like, okay, this is a bit of a meh song for me. But wait, the bridge! Oh, it's over. Okay, that was quick. Now, I like the chorus too, and the bridge. I really like the lyric, "You took me home, but you just couldn't keep me," and the way that she sings it. That's really good. But overall, this is also a C tier. I don't know if the way that these are arranged represents my opinions like for all time always. I feel like these move around all the time. I think that's natural, but the tiers are all that matters for us to calculate the actual rating. So I think it's time to count this up. So we have 7 A's, 7 B's, 10 C's, 1 D, and 1 F. And like I said, when we assign each of the letters a number from 1 to 5, with 5 being A and 1 being F, it altogether gives us 96 points. Divided by the amount of songs, which is 26, we get the final rating, which is 3.69. Or about 74%. I can't believe this, but it officially puts Fearless below Debut for me. It just has so many C tier songs and 2 that go even lower than that, whereas I remember in Debut they were all C or above. But it is interesting because I would never have guessed that Fearless would be lower than Debut. I guess we'll see where it ends up at the end of all of my album deep dives. And just kind of for my own curiosity, I also calculated kind of the other versions as their own thing, like the OG edition and other stuff. And the results are much or less the same, except for the full tracks. That one gets 54%. That's weird. But yeah, the actual rating is somewhere in the middle, so that's the one we are going with. And that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like it and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.